You shot Devereaux, didn't you?
No, I didn't even know he had the photograph.
But Devereaux wasn't lying when he said that you were...
No, Larry, listen to me.
No, I listened today.
Oh, Larry, I didn't do anything wrong, and somehow I'll find a way to make you believe me. Say, where do you get off talking to me like that? You don't scare me a bit. No, nor any other man. I got acquainted with men too early in life. Maybe I wouldn't be just like all the rest if I hadn't believed the first man that told me he loved me. He had ideals, too. But he hadn't got his divorce yet. I love him. He's the only man I ever loved. I couldn't live without him. I'll work for him. I'll take care of him. Gee, I'd die for him. He don't need his father. He don't need you. I won't give him up. I won't listen to you. Get out. Get out. You're a coward, Hetty. You were running away from something the first time I met you. And you're a thief. You stole money from your employer.
Yes, for you.
You're a liar. It wasn't for me. It couldn't have been. But I could forgive you for being a liar and a thief and a coward if I loved you. I could forgive you anything. But I don't love you.
Oh, I am sure of our love. It's marriage I want to be sure of.
She has theories, Dad.
Yes, I have. Nearly every girl I know, Mr. Ives, is either unhappily married or unhappily divorced. And I've simply come to the conclusion that marriage is disastrous to love.
Frank Fay?
Yes.
Do you know anything about those stolen jewels?
No.
Why... Oh, Barbara Stanwyck. May I present Mr. Fay?
We know each other. We're married.
Why, of course. Do you know anything about those stolen jewels?
I've just written the most beautiful piece of poetry.
I had your number the minute I stepped into the house. And what's more, I've reported my suspicions on the outside.
Oh, yeah? Spit them out.
You want those kids to die.
Yeah?
Because you want what their father left them. That's why you keep the mother all hopped up and full of booze all the time. One of these days, you'll take her out and marry her and grab the children's trust fund. That's what you're after, but you're not going to get away with it.
During the past few months, many of you have come up here to confess your sins and tell how you were saved. Tonight, I'm going to tell you how I sinned and how I was saved. I've wandered far away from God. And now I'm coming home.
Cut off those lights.
You say you want to do the right thing, well, why don't you? You're using a lot of high words, but what do they all amount to? You've had your fun and you're fed up. That's all right with me. Get out!
Lulu, if you ever need anything...
Yeah, sure, I know. You and the nice, decent people who send you here are the real cheap ones. Trying to put a price on something that there isn't any price for. If that's being decent, I'm glad I'm common. If that's being rich, I'm glad I'm cheap, and I'm going to stay cheap. Because no matter how cheap I am, I'm not for sale.
You can't desert her like that.
Desert who?
Beauty, self-expression, call it whatever you like. You wait. Someday you'll want her. And she'll turn her back on you. She won't be there.
You get pleasure from torturing me, don't you?
Oh, a real joke you and I played on each other. A rotten, hopeless failure married to a dirt...
Don't say that!
Oh, we're a beautiful couple, all right. You thought I could give you a home, and I thought you were decent.
Stop it!
And we both...
Don't say that!
Should build another great wall to keep your kind out.
You've already got a great wall around you. It isn't built of mud and stones. It's made of ridiculous pride and inhuman cruelty. You won't allow one single human feeling to reach you. You want me to be hostage for Molly? All right, I'm not afraid of you. I'll answer for her loyalty.
Their brains are in alcohol in little jars for curious visitors to gape at, property of the state. And you murdered them.
You've got to listen to me.
I've listened to you plenty. I'm forgetting about you, but you're going to hear about me every day of your lying, hypocritical life. You're going to read about me in the papers for every crime in the world, from every city in the world. And let this cheer you up. It'll be you who's done it.
I have to think of myself. I've gone through a lot to get those things. My life has been bitter and hard. I'm not like other women. All the gentleness and kindness in me has been killed. All I've got are those things. Without them, I'd be nothing. I'd have to go back to what I was. I guess there never ought to have been any other man but you, Jeff.
When we get back from over there, if we do get back...
We'll forget there was a war. We'll forget there ever were Germans. Huh, Jeff?
Like to dance?
No.
Theater? No.
Two, please.
Say, do you play poker every night?
No. Some nights I play blackjack. I bet.
I'd like to play hearts with you sometime.
I kind of figured that.
Dan, the thing that I thought could never happen to me again has happened. If only it had been you. That's what I've prayed for. That's what I've wanted more than anything else in the world. But it's someone else. But, Bob, if you're going to do everything you can to clear Father, then
Yes?
nobody must know we're married.
I'm afraid you're right.
Yes, I was fond of him, and not in the way Nico would like you to believe either. I liked him because he was a straight shooter. That's more than anyone can say for the rest of you.
Shelby, please.
I despise the whole lot of you. I'd rather associate with a bunch of stable boys. I'm going down to the courtroom now to help him because I was the girl in the red coat. And how do you why it's like that?
But you can't believe in Arner's ideas
What can't I?
because you're my daughter.
Oh, I'm not going to let that handicap me. You're a dear, but you're old-fashioned. Leonard is ahead of the times. He's brilliant.
I'm beginning to suspect you're in love with him.
Suspect? It's no secret. I am in love with him.
He's sweet and kind. You don't understand him. None of you do.
Benny, please.
You never gave him a chance from the first day you saw him. Well, I'll tell you something. He's better than the whole bunch of you put together.
I wanted your father to help me find General Garcia. I have a message for him.
A message? From whom?
A message from the President of the United States.
Does that mean you bring aid for my people? Does it mean the end of things like that? Oh, I understand all right. Your Martin pride had to remain in one piece. You had to keep on being lord and master at 35 a week, even if it took 85. Anything for the good old Martin slogan, no Martin woman works. Don't pay the butcher, cheat the baker, lie to the candlestick maker. Go about with runs in your stockings, rips in your seams, and lines on your face.
All these months we've been waiting, I've sensed your restlessness, but I thought it was because you wanted to break down the barriers and your code wouldn't let you. And I loved and respected you for it.
I wouldn't let 1 minute of the rest of my life depend on you. Not a minute.
What kind of a deal did you think you were giving me when you brought me down here?
I wasn't thinking about you. I was thinking about my brother.
You think I've been happy here with everybody laughing at me? Land girl, can't keep her husband. Well, maybe I don't want to keep him anymore. I've done without him for 6 months. Maybe I'll make it 6 years or 60.
He's headed home
I
now.
can do without him forever. What'd you say?
Ernie's coming home.
Ernie's coming home?
You should be proud your husband was selected.
Proud? My mother was proud when she saw my father go marching off to war. But there was little pride in her weeping when she knew he'd not come back. You must think I'm crazy arguing like this. But that money doesn't mean a thing to you if you're going to give it back. And it doesn't mean anything to them. I wish I could tell you what it means to me.
You see, as I told you before, interns just don't take money.
No, he won't do anything.
You don't know him the way I do. We've got to leave right away.
I'm sorry, Lil. But I'm going to Baltimore.
Oh, no, Joe, you can't. You promised me.
You wouldn't want me to run away, would you?
But you've got to come with me. Something will happen. I know it. I feel it.
This is my affair, Lil.
Does he think I don't see what he's after? Well, he'll never get away with it, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to give her the same things. Everything her heart's been set on. Fine hotels, fancy friends. She's going to have them all. Only I'm going to give them to her, and he's going to pay for them. If he's got any extra increases, he can just hand them over. And if he don't, maybe I'll get a lawyer and bring in the name of that highfalutin widow. Oh, I do love you, Johnny. I do love you. Oh, dear, what'll I do? Oh, Pee-wee, he's hurt. What'll I do?
Give him a slug of scotch.
Phil Marshall's asked me to marry him. I was so concerned about Roddy, I couldn't see that this might happen.
You're going to accept?
Jim, it means that I can have Roddy always. I can be sure he's loved and protected. I have to accept. In my lifetime, I've heard of a variety of subterfuges, but Ames, you are superb. No other man in the whole world could have thought of this.
You're up to your beautiful hips in murder. You're fooling around with someone who isn't afraid to kill. Who is he? What are you girls up to?
Wouldn't you and Brent love to know? I swear by what's dear on this earth, and by all the love that's in me, and oh, please, God, Jeff, there's nothing in this car you want. I begged you to stay away from Fuseli. And what did you do? The second he put a piece of bait on the hook, you snapped at it. You forgot your promise and took the easy way out. And look at you now. A bad imitation of your gangster friend. You're not the boy I cared about. I just want to plead guilty.
If Your Honor would kindly grant a 5-minute recess.
My child, why do you want to plead guilty?
Because I am guilty. When you make a mistake, you've got to pay for it. Otherwise, you never learn.
Why don't you marry one of them?
Why should I marry anybody that looks like that? When I marry, it's going to be somebody I've never seen before. I mean, I won't know what he looks like or where he'll come from or what he'll be. I want him to sort of take me by surprise.
Like a burglar.
That's right.
Now, please, John, you won't let me down, will you? Will you? Of course you won't. If you'll just think of yourself as the real John Doe. Listen, everything in that speech are things a certain man believed in. He was my father, John. And when he talked, people listened.
It was a mistake.
Of course it was a mistake, and so is the way you've chosen to live your life. Oh, Peter, must you be without purpose or ambition just because you have money? Don't you want to do anything worthwhile?
You talk as though having money is a crime.
It is when you choose to occupy your idle talents in destroying our happiness. And you're succeeding beautifully.
Ethan.
Yes.
I had a dream.
So did I.
No, I mean a dream about gold. Oh, maybe it sounds silly, but I really did. A misty sort of dream about a mountain of gold. A black mountain with a sunny peak like a beckoning finger in the sky.
But I thought you
I
said...
changed my mind.
You mean we'll go?
Tomorrow. Who was that guy learned so much from watching an apple drop?
Isaac Newton, 1642 to 1727. The law of gravity.
Yeah, that's him. And I want you to look at me as another apple, Professor Potts. Just another apple.
After all, the child is yours and mine.
I want nothing that belongs to you.
Wish it didn't have to be like this.
I want it this way, and I still want to hate you. You can take your son, take the Gaylord house, and tear it down stone by stone and build Berkeley Square. You've won. I was in the dressing room, I saw the wax, I was curious, and I touched it.
Why did you later furtively wipe it off?
I wiped it off, but not furtively. You turned away from me. I turn away from garbage dumps, too.
I had a dream, too, on the boat. Oh, not while I was asleep. The most beautiful dream I ever had. And maybe it will come true.
If you want it to, it will.
I've never wanted anything more in my life. Mr. Neff, why don't you drop by tomorrow evening around 8:30? He'll be in then.
Who?
My husband. You were anxious to talk to him, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, but I'm sort of getting over the idea, if you know what I mean.
There's a speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say around 90.
You're Barbara Stanwyck.
How can you tell?
Because you look like you look, only more so than I thought.
Well, I'm sorry I'm such a disappointment.
Disappointment? My gosh, I was more crazy about you than anybody until...
What came between us?
Joan Leslie.
Oh, darn. Jefferson Jones, are you flirting with me?
Oh, no, I wouldn't dare.
Don't apologize. I'm flattered. It's always intriguing to a married woman to find she's still attractive to the opposite sex.
But
Do I attract you?
Yes.
That's a brother any girl could be proud of. Listen, Bing's over at the recording stage watching Carmen Cavallero rehearse a number. Now, you go on over there and tell him I said to get you on that train. Go on.
Oh, thank you, Miss Stanwyck. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
If I go now, things will never be the same between them and me. Oh, Scott, please try to realize why I'm letting you down. Please forgive me.
There's nothing to forgive, darling. You have to face responsibility. Wouldn't be you if you didn't.
I'll always love you. Nothing will ever change that.
Married, Lance? I don't know. He's wanted to marry me ever since we were kids. He's our sort. He's Well, he's Lance.
You hadn't mentioned love.
I tried love, Mother.
He'll always be.
No, he won't, Walter. He won't. And he'll never tell you needn't be afraid. And you'll see. Things will be different now between you and me. Just like nothing ever happened.
You may think you're pretty high and mighty, Trumbo, but let me tell you this. If I live long enough, and I will, I'm going to pull you down off that fancy horse of yours and shove your face in the muck. So help me.
Darling, you're sick. Oh, think, Jeffrey, think. You can go to that door. You can walk out of this house free to do anything you want. No one will ever know what happened. No one will ever know. Oh, no, Jeffrey, no. What do you want?
You've got to get well. For that, you've got to stay here.
Which treatment is this, Doctor? Love didn't work. Now you try music. The music that brought me here. No, that won't work either. Faith in your ability was the most you ever gave me, and now even that's been taken away. No, I won't stay here any longer.
Oh, everyone's afraid once in a while, Julie dear. For instance, a minute ago, I was afraid when I thought Jim was alive. I thought the way you did, that they were doing something awful to him. And do you see what happened? I made you afraid. And that was stupid. Fear is stupid. In 18 years, the Variety Club has grown from 11 members to over 7,000 showmen all over the world. To date, the club has spent over $12 million for the welfare of underprivileged children.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The car is here, Miss Stanwyck.
Thank you. Come on, Johnny.
Yes, I was out of love with him. I loved you. I loved you for years. But now I love him for making Martin uncomfortable and looking well in his uniform. And being a gentleman unafraid. And I hate you for the FEA and the PFQ and the War Economic something or other pompous committee. And for being mean to BF.
That clicked just now on my telephone. As though someone had lifted the receiver off the hook of the extension downstairs.
I didn't hear it, madam.
Well, I did. There's someone in this house. There's someone in the kitchen downstairs, and they're listening to me now.
I sat there watching it happen, swearing I would stop when I lost the chips in front of me. Then back to the desk for more money. Back to the table. Back to the desk over and over. You must have known, except you didn't want to know. Why didn't you put me on the stand?
To strengthen your case.
You were afraid I'd break down. You knew I would sometime. Okay. I killed her, right from that corner. I didn't know about the will. I was getting the jewels for Tony. I came out here with that plan.
This is one last desperate try, isn't it? You're afraid and unhappy, and perhaps that's only fair. You've caused me a great deal of unhappiness in the past. But if I were in your place, I would remember something Miss Cavanaugh didn't forget to teach me. How to lose gracefully.
I didn't kill him, Bill. He was dead, I know he was. He was staring at me, and I suddenly realized he was dead, but I couldn't stop. I fired the gun, and he just kept staring at me. His expression never changed. You've got to believe me, Bill. You've got to believe me.
What's in it for me? Is it worth a Darrow strip to you? Sleep well.
What you don't understand is the man is dead because of me.
You were only doing your job, the same as I'm doing mine. I've told you that before.
You're still so sure of yourself, aren't you? Still so sure that you're right. There must be something inside you that makes you the way you are. Why not make a friend of me? Would you not like to be my friend?
I prefer it to being your enemy.
Merely in friendship, I can offer you...
What? What are you trying to say?
I never belonged to anybody.
Never?
I thought I was being honest. I thought I wasn't lying, but I was. I said to the world, this is what I am, take me or leave me, so that it was always on my terms they had to accept me. But it was a trick.
Is there anything else your husband's got that I could use?
I can't think of anything.
I can.
What?
His wife.
I'd do anything to save my husband. Anything. It'll be a long walk, Richard. Thank you for lying. I know you're trying to make it easy for us.
This way is easier for me, too.
Oh, Richard, where did we miss out on each other? I love Henry. I love him and the children, and I'm not going to throw it away again.
You think I'd let you stay here without me? Know you're in that house, watch those lights go out at night? Do you think I could stand that?
Oh, please let me alone, Dutch. Don't ruin everything again. I would have been all right before if it hadn't been for you. Now I'd have my home and my kids.
I don't care about your home. I care about you and me.
No, don't go. I'm desperate. I need you. Help me. Help me.
I'm sorry for you, Marina, but I can't help you.
You mean you won't? You don't want to. Why?
I mean, this time I'm helping myself.
Well, that's not the reason. You know it. What is it, that girl? No, it can't be. You're not in love with her. Get your things.
You'll never go through with this, Rella.
I told you I would, and I'm keeping my word. I killed a man today, Wes. I don't want to repeat that experience. But I will. Believe me, I will if you try anything. Where's your saddle?
On the shed.
Let's get it.
You can't do that. You're selling out the company, Avery Bullard's company, your own father's.
What did I ever get out of it but loneliness and sudden death? What did I ever get out of them but the sight of their backs?
Bullard gave you everything you have. There wouldn't be any stock if it hadn't been for him. You wouldn't be here at all.
I gave him 10 years of my life and all my love. Isn't that enough? What am I going to do? I'm so confused. What if I told you I still believe I saw that murder and that I didn't write those letters? It's as if I were two different people, both strangers to each other.
What are you doing here anyway? You're supposed to be on your way into town.
McCorder's getting rifles for Natchakoa tomorrow at dawn.
One thing we didn't know, when and where.
I figured warning Colorado's was a lot more important than worrying about my problem.
Jonesy, I don't know whether you're lucky or just plain talented, but the Army could sure use you.
He knew someday this territory would be a state, and its affairs would be run by men with ambition. Lou was gone. But I know he wouldn't want me to stop. He said it's people like us who would make this country what it should be. People who don't give in, people who keep on fighting no matter what they feel or suffer. Look at the seal. It is a letter to you from your son.
Let it wait.
Highness, you are known in all Burma as a wise and just man. The hurt in your heart for your son must be very deep. But if you found out too late you had wronged that man, it would be even deeper. It would never heal.
Norma.
Oh, face it, Cliff. I've had to face it. You know you'll want to see Marion again. Hear her voice. Quarrel with her over the bills and the children. She's the one who belongs in your life. Your first love. You were the best I had a chance to meet in this territory. But somewhere along the way, sometime, I'll meet a better man, like the kind of man I used to know. And when I do, I'll drop you like a poisonous snake.
You refused an order of this court?
I did. I've spent most of my life finding homes for unwanted children. I couldn't bear to see a child betrayed or deserted. Even an animal feeds its young.
You dealt the cards, I played them as they came.
All right, Tony. If you can't say the word for Bill, then just don't put in for anybody. Just leave it alone. There's a good chance Bill might get the job anyway, but not if you say I want to lead us.
I do want to lead us.
No, Tony, no. Not after what I've done. Not after
Now the game's over.
Just now, down there in the cold, clear water, watching my son, listening to him laugh. That one moment was worth all those years. The boy you killed, the life I've led, everything, nothing can hurt us now. You're not leaving here without me, Griff. What's happened to us is like war. Easy to start, hard to stop.
Can any man love a woman for herself without wanting her body for his own pleasure? Love is understanding and sharing, enjoying the beauty of life without the reek of lust. I'll bet you're broke. How are you going to eat?
I'll manage.
How about a job with the carny, just until your bike is fixed? I could use a good roustabout.
Are you serious? Me, you work in a circus? No.
This is not a circus, it's a carnival. There's a big difference.
Okay.
Now, how about it? This is hard, rough work. On second thought, forget it. You might be too soft for real work.
Hey, just a minute.
I'm trying to pretend that I lead a normal life with someone who loves me, don't you understand? I know why my dreams seem real. Because when I'm awake, my life with you is like a nightmare.
The truth! Tell me the truth!
All right, here's the truth. My lover is only a dream, but he's still more of a man than you! What about us? What about our son? Or isn't that important? An eye for an eye, that's what Jordan said. A son for a son. What's there to listen to? You killed Charlie.
To be honest, it was self-defense.
Charlie was the gentlest man in the whole world.
Oh, that's for the waitress.
I've had 3 years of it. I can't take it anymore.
Breakfast in bed, lunch in bed. I couldn't have dinner in bed. It was full of dirty dishes.
Well, that's your solution, isn't it? Instead of you giving her money each month, suppose some relative died and left her a regular income. There's only one thing I love. Money. Money. And someday he's going to leave me plenty. Yeah. Because they had the boldness to throw away the book. Oh, Bert, take this whole company, do this job right. But your father is the only man in Chicago who can stop a gang war from breaking loose on the streets. Well, I wasn't exactly headed that way.
You've got to go back. Warn them.
You sure Red Cloud is out of the mountains? He still isn't hanging around South Pass? My husband ran the best private detective agency in the country when he was alive. Now that he's gone, I've taken over. When Satan tempted Christ with the whole world, is it because he hated him or because he loved him?
You don't love me.
I have always loved you. Then you give him your shares, divided between Monica and Miles. Jason, I've made my decision. Can't you accept it?
Tonight, from Hollywood, The Barbara Stanwyck Show.
And you can leave, Heath. Oh, you can leave. But it won't change a thing. Because no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what you call yourself, you'll still be a Barkley. Nobody's more concerned about the future of this family than I am. And Jeff is part of that future now, whether you like it or not. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Board of Governors of the Academy for giving me this special award. I tried many times to get it, but I didn't make it. So this is indeed very special to me.